everybody, to the initial episode of All Ball, No Bull. I'm your host, Kenny Matthews, and I got two sidekicks with me, the great Jim Dent. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, Kenny. I'm actually doing better now that I see you.
It's been a long time, buddy. I
can't ever remember being around two greater guys than you and Billy Martin Jr.
And my buddy down there, my sidekick down there, Billy Martin Jr. How the heck are you doing, buddy?
It's always a good day when we get to have some fun doing these pods.
I'm really looking forward to this segment. It's going to, like we said, it's all ball, no bull. We're going to pick 3 games apiece against the line. We hope you take these picks to the bank, baby. Billy and I did a couple of weeks apiece at each other, and I will let the audience know that I got the good old goose egg there last week, going 0-3. Had some stellar
3-0 in week 1, so come on, let it go.
And had some stellar picks with that Colton, Minnesota pick there. But we're going to try our best to do a little bit better this week, as we got week 3 games coming up here. And man, Billy, I'm going to let you start off since you won last week here. What is going to be your first pick against the lines here? Can't wait to hear it.
Well, I'll tell you, I made the mistake in week 1 of betting against my namesake, the Bills. And since I'm just the Bill, I'm going to bet on the Bills again. I know they looked better last week than we expected them to, but I'm taking Buffalo.
Is that minus 5.5, or what did you have it at, Billy?
That's what I had it at, minus 5.5.
All right, excellent. And Jim, we'd love for you to come in with your initial pick with man Billy Martin and myself. Man, I can't wait.
I'm going to tell you right now, the Buffalo Bills are the best team in football.
Yeah,
there's no question about it. You've seen them the first 2 weeks. They're going against Miami. Poor old Tua. They're going down to Miami, and they're going to get their butts beat. By the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter last week. So I make it's the key factor in the game. I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins with Tua, who, by the way, is greatly improved, to actually beat them outright. So if you want to bet the money line this week, go for the Miami Dolphins.
As Jimbo comes out swinging hard for the very first pick, not only wanting the 5.5 points, but calling the straight up upset.
Down goes crazy.
Oh, I like that. I like
you know what?
that.
I got Billy 3 times tonight. So when all is said and done,
well,
he's just gonna kind of go on back to his bedroom and go to sleep.
Well, as Billy knows, I'm very down on Tua, but man, I had to eat me some Tua crow last week in that fourth quarter last week, big time. So I'm not sold on Tua just yet. I want to see a bigger plate. I want to make sure that there's a little bit more substance there, but he did silence some people last week because 28 points in the fourth quarter at Baltimore, and that's a heck of a haul. And let me tell you something, those 2 wide receivers, Tyreek Hill and Waddle,
Yeah.
not bad. I will come out swinging with this ugly pick first, but I'm going to tell you exactly why. I am going to take the Washington. I know we're supposed to call them the Commanders. It's still messing up. I still want to call them the Skins, but we can't do that. No, but I'm going to take the Washington Commanders at home, getting 6.5. And I'll tell you the simple reason why. I like divisional home dogs, and you're almost getting a touchdown here. I expect Philadelphia to come down a little bit because they almost looked flawless this past Monday night with Jalen Hurts. That's another guy that I'm not sold on just yet either. I think he's doing things with a little bit of blinders and a lot with his feet. I think that will eventually catch up with you. And I think Washington's not a bad team. I don't think that believe me, they're a mediocre team, but I think it's not a bad play at home. And like I said, I like the divisional foes at home. So I am going to take the Washington Commanders, getting 6.5.
I I like that pick, Kenny, too. That was my number 5. It really was.
Well, all they got to do is just keep it close. Philly will win by 3. That's not a problem here. Let's get off this schneid. Let's get back into the winning column, and let's go with Billy with your number 2 pick.
Right, number 2 pick. Well, there's that team down in Florida. They changed their name after their quarterback, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay -1. Button heads with Jimmy on this one again.
Going 0-2.
But I'm sorry, Green Bay. He's not the GOAT. Tom is. I'm sorry. He's got really bad hair too.
He does got some bad hair. I don't know what that look was last week.
I don't know.
That was
I know he hasn't had a vaccination nor a haircut in a long time.
Well, Billy, I will tout you. Last week, you had said you liked Tampa against the Saints last week. A lot of stats were going up against you on that, and Tampa Bay took care of a divisional foe there on the road last week at New England. Jameis Winston was Jameis Winston again, that we all come to love. That is the ultimate doom or boom guy. Bust. It's either he's either the greatest quarterback that day or he's the worst quarterback. There's no happy medium with that guy. 3 interceptions in the second half really doomed him a lot. Got Tampa at home against Green Bay, laying the 2.5. Billy Martin. I actually kind of like that pick there, but remember, Green Bay went down to Tampa last year and got the doors blown off of them last year. So Green Bay could be coming in there with a chip on their shoulder when they come in there this time. And I am a little worried about some of the injuries that Tampa's getting. I know they're winning. They're not winning at a real blowing people out. But man, I'm worried about you keep missing 2 and 3 guys every week. It eventually catches up with you. So, but that's a decent pick there, Billy. I kind of like that. Jim, why don't you come up with your second pick?
Wait a minute. You're telling me that the absence of Mike Evans is no big deal? Mike Evans is the best wide receiver in the National Football League.
He's training.
You're trying to tell me that his absence is not going to matter. Let me tell you something. He is Tom Brady's last receiver.
Yeah.
He is. Brady's going to be lost on Sunday. And by God, the Green Bay Packers are coming around. Aaron Jones is the best running back in the league. Aaron Rodgers had a pretty good game last week.
Yes, he did.
I think Green Bay handles Tampa Bay on the road, embarrasses them to an extent. I was not impressed with Tampa Bay against New Orleans simply because Jameis Winston is probably the worst quarterback in the National Football League. So anyway, I'm going with Green Bay. So I'm now 2-0 against Philly.
Jim, to your point there, Aaron Rodgers last week had about 250 yards passing. He threw to 8 different wide receivers. A lot different than it was the week before. They said that he wasn't relying on trusting his guys to be there. And also, I think it was huge for Green Bay. They got both of their offensive tackles back. So, that's huge also. And so I think that Rodgers felt a lot more comfortable in the pocket last week, knowing that he had some protection there. If I had to pick a game in this one, I think I would take Green Bay in the points. I don't know who Tom Brady's going to throw to. His 3 wide receivers from last year, Goodwin, Evans, and Gronk, are no longer there.
All gone.
So I think I would lean that way. For my second pick here, I'm gonna have another ugly one. I'm gonna go with Las Vegas Raiders. I expect them to have a bounce back this week as they play Tennessee, which I think is a dog right now. I think Tennessee is, one of the worst teams in the NFL right now. They can't get away from themselves at all. Vegas is playing in the toughest division in football. You can't start off 0-3 in that division, expect to compete for a division title or to try to get a wild card. Last week, Vegas in the second half only had 65 yards in total offense in that epic epic meltdown against Arizona last week at home. I really think that I think this is kind of one of those seasonal games for the Raiders. If they lose this game, I think their season's over. They win this game, they still have a shot. And I just don't trust Tannehill and Tennessee right now. They just, I can't put my finger on what they are really. It did just seem like they're yeah. I just don't. You got the best running back in football, and your offense is just very anemic right now. So I'm gonna go with a bounce back game with Derek Carr. He throws 15 times week 1 to Mr. Adams. Last week he only throws twice to him for 12 yards. We got to get a happy median somewhere there, and I think it starts this week at Tennessee. So I will take the greatness, the Raiders. And Billy, why don't you come up with your final pick here of the night? Let us all know what that great pick is that's going to allow you to have that winning week against.
Let me tell you, Billy's going to get this one wrong.
Well, okay, so
he's going 0 for 3, Kenny.
I'm going to take Dallas in the points.
Oh,
in the Meadowlands. And I'm sorry, that defense looks so good to me. And I mean, look, the Giants are going to have time to really plan against whatever Cooper is. And so we're going to really find out this week. But I saw something I liked in him. And I think they're going to cover.
Oh, the thing about, I think this is kind of one of those, we'll find out a lot about the Cooper Rush this week, like you said, because, you know, you have a week to game plan for him for sure. I mean, he managed the game last week against Cincinnati. You did make a great point about the defense. Michael Parsons is just a wrecking ball right now. He's unblockable at this point in time. You got Diggs in the back end. That's also a difference maker. For me, it's, you know, with the Tarkanian hook kind of scares me a little bit, you know, getting to 2.5 instead of the 3, you know, that really kind of, I can see this being a very low scoring game, but, you know, I can see Dallas covering this game. I mean, I don't see that's not, now I can see Dallas actually winning this game, you know, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
And Jimbo, your last pick of the night.
I gotta wipe this taste out of my mouth right now. Billy is just going 0-3. There's no question about it. My lock of the week is the Blue G-Men. Because back in the day, Kenny, when I was covering the Cowboys and going up to New York once a year, every once in a while, the Giants got on fire. The fans got on fire. The entire Meadowlands got on fire. And that's what's going to happen on Monday night when all those drunks from New York show up at Giants Stadium and start howling. The Dallas Cowboys are going down, baby. The Giants have a brand new coach. He has confidence. They are 3-0. He kind of got that quarterback straightened out just a little bit because I noticed last week him yelling at him when he was on the bench. I really think this is a special night for the Giants because it shows the world that they are back. And I like Cooper Rush. Of course, I love Michael Parsons. The Cowboys have a pretty good team, but they're going down by 2 touchdowns on Monday. Of the week.
I'm loving it. Jim coming out with fire on his picks this week. I'm loving that. Calling straight up wins, telling them how much. I'm liking that.
Money line, baby. Money line.
Right. I took Cowboys plus 14.
I'm liking that. I like Jim coming out that way. My final pick of the night is going to be the Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. They're going to be at Arizona this week, laying 3.5. Simple thought process here was that the Rams have one of the toughest schedules in the National Football League. Generally, the Super Bowl champ does, but if you really looked at their schedule, they need to win these games for sure because you're not going to win all the games that on the road that they have. Arizona, I think that was more of what the Raiders did last week as opposed to what Arizona did last week. They were getting blown out 20-0 in that game before the greatness decided just to cater. Now, true, they got hosed on a holding call that probably shouldn't have been called against the Raiders there at the end. But still, a block field goal that goes for a TD, you can't count on that. And me being an OU guy, I'm still not sold on Kyler Murray just yet. I mean, he looks like a great game day quarterback running around when he can use his legs. But I worry about the time when we know that he has to pass and he's forced in passing downs in a 2-minute drill, if he can get it done just yet. And I'm not sold on Kingsbury just yet. I think I'm torn on him. He looks great one week, and then he'll have 3 and 4 stinkers in a row, and then he'll have a great game when he beats a good team. I don't know if the game is too fast for him just yet. I don't know if he's game manager just yet, but I'm also not sold on the Arizona Cardinals roster. I mean, I really think their roster is really mediocre at best. So I'm going to take the defending champs to bounce back a little defensively because the champs have shown they've got some holes on defense, and that's really surprising considering you got the best defensive player in the league, right, in Sam Donald. I mean, so it really does. Aaron Donald, excuse me, not Sam. Aaron.
Good old Sammy.
Yeah.
I know where.
Good old Sammy.
Here's Kenny's deal with Kyler. Kenny still can't get over the fact that they wanted to put in his contract that he needed to study the playbook just a little bit more. He needed to promise that.
Let me tell you something about Kyler Murray. I lived in Allen. I saw every game for 3 straight seasons, including the state championship game.
Which one?
Well, there was 4 of them. Kyler is the greatest athlete in the National Football League. He showed that last week, and he's going to show it again this week.
Jim with his extra picks. He's going 4D.
I now have 4 picks.
I like that. Let's win them all this week. We appreciate you guys listening to us. We'll be back next week, man, with all ball, no bull. Hey, let's go out and win some ball games this week. Thanks so much, fellas. I appreciate you being on.